Hello, this is for Sam, who's got his IGCSE paper 2 tomorrow, and he sent me a sample of his question 1 answer. So he's looking at the 2013 series. This is the Mart Scheme for his question 1, and you can see there are 3 things he has to write about. When you look at the Mart Scheme to mark your own work, don't just look at the number of bullet points, because you don't need all of those. Crucially, look at what development means. So in the first bullet point, A1, the examiners are looking for references to his state of mind and also the sorts of details that might be included. In the second bullet point, the development are inferences, so the need to take plenty of matches, the need to plan ahead, and to explain how it's not safe to travel at night. And then there are extra details that could be included. And then the third bullet point, as you should know, is always inference, always about what you can work out. So all of this is development. That's why it's not shown separately as dev, because all of this is development. And these are the sorts of things that I'm going to be looking for in Sam's answer. Now, the main thing that I'm going to pick on in Sam's answer, and that I see in most students' work, is that the Mart Scheme is always really specific. So in the bullet points, it's specific things that you need to include. You don't have a generalized sort of summary of them. It's actual facts that need to be included. Because that's what the exam will always test. Can you retrieve facts from the passage? Once you have the facts, then can you develop them? And what happens often is that students kind of generalize about the facts without actually stating the facts first, and therefore they make the question harder than it is. The first thing I notice is that he's used the highlighters correctly. Each highlighter is for one of the 3 different bullet points, and I can see that there's a range of different colours, so he ought to have quite a few facts to put in. This paragraph looks a little light on colours, and that's probably a clue that there might be more in there that he's missed. So he's asked to write 1.5 sides, which he's just about managed, although bear in mind that your side starts at least a quarter through and maybe a third, and so you really need to write all of the second side to make sure you've hit the marks. My name is Vincent, and I have something important to tell you, exactly as he was supposed to start. Well done. But that means you don't start scoring marks till here. First of all, the conditions are brutal, so be prepared to wear insulated clothes for the coldness. However, there is no need to be frightened, as I thoroughly enjoyed the experience. So this is where Sam starts to get general. It's not sticking to actual facts that he's developing from. And it reduces stress levels by taking your mind away from problems. Now, I don't think that was in the Mart Scheme. And the reason it's not in the Mart Scheme is that you have to talk about the actual facts and events that happened on your walk. And then you have to stick to the skills and knowledge. And when you start talking about dealing with stress and things like that, that might be something that you put here, although it's not mentioned in the Mart Scheme at all. So if we go back to the question paper, you can see why Sam's made that mistake, because the question paper doesn't actually say, give me the facts. It says, tell the newcomers about your recent hazardous walk. So it's worthwhile knowing that these bullet points will always be about facts, and the reason for that is they're supposed to be easy marks to get at the beginning of the exam, and the difficult marks are in this third bullet point. So stick to the facts and then develop them. One thing I learned about myself was not to underestimate how deadly nature can be. Don't be too confident about yourself. So that bit about confidence is in the Mart Scheme, but we need some facts about how nature is deadly. Also, I should state that if you wish to survive, do not walk by yourself. Good, that's a fact. For companionship is key in such harsh terrain, Excellent. In addition, if the conditions are too much to handle, well, that's general. Be specific about what the conditions are that will be dangerous. And if you get too cold, now you're starting to be specific, then be sure to keep moving. That's a fact. Possibly even run, which maintains blood flow. That's a fact, and this is development of why the fact is important. As you're on your travels, you could possibly come across some obstacles. That's a bit general. The main thing to do in these situations is simply just overcome them. Well, that again is general. What are these obstacles? You know what they are because you've read the passage, and you're kind of doing too much work here, Sam. You just need to say what those obstacles are. Spell them out. Stay focused, okay, but that really is better when you're thinking about what you've learned about yourself. Another skill you may need to have is to be able to light a fire to keep you warm. Good, that's another fact. If you do not have the correct equipment to ignite the fire, then my advice is to improvise, as I learned that I can think imaginatively in crucial situations when resources are low. Well, that's better. You're inferring there, but how did you improvise? However, you may need to remove certain clothes to make it possible for you to light the fire. Once you have a fire, you will feel a sense of self-esteem and great courage. That's possibly what you learned, but you haven't spelt it out, and you haven't included advice on getting the clothes back on as quickly as possible. On the other hand, to survive, you need common sense. Otherwise, you will put yourself in danger. Again, that's really general. What's this common sense going to tell you? Stick to the facts that are in the passage, especially when lighting a fire. Okay, so what are the facts about lighting a fire that are important to remember? If you do, however, find yourself in a troubled situation, again, you're being general, be specific. Be sure to realise the seriousness of the situation. Again, I hope you can see that this is really general. You've begun the paragraph with finally, so I'm assuming that you ran out of time here. If I go back, I can see that you've correctly ticked off each fact as you've included it, but you can see that this is all missing. You haven't included that in your answer yet. So your technique has worked so far, and I'm assuming that it's time management that's the problem. Another slight issue which makes it harder for the examiner to mark is that you've dealt with these points, I think, in the order in which they came up. And what you haven't done is said, all right, my first bullet point is, I can't remember which colour it was, and I'll do all those coloured ones first. So at the beginning of your answer, you've jumped straight to the third bullet point with stuff that you've learnt about yourself. Now, the exam scheme doesn't tell you can't do that, but it does make it harder for the examiner to keep track of what you're saying. So if you possibly can, use the order of the bullet points. Okay, well, how will the examiner mark this? Well, definitely you've read the passage reasonably well, but you didn't reflect the range of content of the original. I wouldn't say that the use of the passage was mechanical because you inferred quite a lot. There is focus on the task and satisfactory reference, but opportunities for development are rarely taken. Well, this is tricky because you did develop a few points, but you didn't have enough facts. Some supporting detail is used, yes, but not that much. Ideas are simply formulated. No, they were quite well formulated. There is definitely uneven focus on the bullets because of the lack of facts. So the examiner is stuck here and then wondering which way to put you, and that's a gut instinct. And so they're looking at the general quality, subconsciously looking at the general quality of your answer. And you probably get 8 here because you didn't really write enough. Then if we look at the 5 marks for your written style, language was definitely clear and appropriate. Was it comparatively plain or factual, expressing little opinion? No, you had lots of opinion in it, so we're going to go into the band 4. It was definitely clear. There was a range of vocabulary. Was there subtlety and precision? Definitely precision. And to give a sense of voice, did I understand who you were in the passage? Yes, I did. It sounded like a real person talking to me. So on balance, I'm going to go for a band 4. So your total is therefore 12 out of 20, which is 60%, and that is my gut reaction of a C+ kind of grade. Now, what's interesting here is that you didn't have a problem finding the facts in the passage. So all your issues in the exam are about exam technique, writing enough, making sure you've included everything that's highlighted in your answer. And all you can do is your best, but make sure your best includes making sure that all the facts that you found are in there and that you've developed where you can. For you, Sam, the very best advice is not to be general, always be specific, and the easiest way for you to do that is to concentrate on those facts. So, thanks for letting me mark this. Good luck in the exam tomorrow.